Lately, I've been hearing so many stories about Black women being pushed out of certain spaces, like intentionally, situations that are clearly biased. And honestly, it resonates. And so crazy that over the weekend, this woman reached out to me and she was telling me about how she feels like she's being pushed out of her volunteer group. She does volunteer at her school. So she's in like this parent volunteer group, and she feels like people are trying to push her out because she's Black. So those are her thoughts. And she reached out to me because, I think she's read some articles on my website that I've written about because I've experienced something similar. And that kind of goes along with what I wanted to talk about today. It's performative allyship. So the backstory is, in 2024, some information was shared publicly about me that was absolutely not true. In the most Karen of all complaints, this woman complained that I was a PTA president for longer than I should have been. And forget about the fact that this was a complete lie. There was even a state certified document that clearly showed that I was not a PTA president for as long as this person was spreading rumors saying that I was. But nevertheless, I guess if Karen cries tears, everybody has to listen, and everything she says is true. So this Karen was the one that allegedly started this whole rumor, and it was spread like online. She actually reached out to the local media to spread this rumor. Like, she really, really had an issue with me being a Black PTA president. But this misinformation, it completely divided a community. This was a town-wide conversation, and ultimately it shifted leadership to the point where it ended up being absolutely no Black people on the PTA. So the PTA executive board no longer reflected the diversity of the community that it was meant to serve. So there were claims and concern. The agenda was for there to be no Black people on the PTA's executive board because this Karen wanted to solidify a position for herself and to ensure that there were no Black people on the PTA's executive board. Now, whether or not this was the actual agenda, this is actually what the results ended up being. And this is where we have to take a pause and just think for a second. Performative allyship is not about just what people say in public. It's about the actions that they produce. You can't sit around and say you're trying to do something for the good of the community, you're trying to support students, you're trying to support families, but you push forth an agenda that alienates people. So it's about being able to speak the language of equity while participating in decisions that lead to exclusion. So when a narrative is formed and is believed despite evidence, when a Black woman's voice is dismissed even when documentation and evidence exists, that's not new. That's a pattern. I'm sharing this information because if we're going to talk about allyship, we got to be honest about when it's performative. There's more to this story that matters, and I'm going to get into that in my next video.